This is Dream Power Radio, the place where your dreams turn into reality. Here is your host, Debbie Spector-Weissman.
Hello, 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 and welcome to the Dream Power Show on the amazing Women and Men of Power Network, the world's leading positive programming network, powered by Raven International. I'm your host, Debbie Spector-Weissman, the Dream Coach. This is the show where we talk about dreams, both daytime and nighttime dreams, and how you can use them to make the internal shift to a life you love. And as always, as a reminder, I'm here to help you understand your dreams. So if you've got a dream that's got you stumped, send it to me at debbie@dreampowerradio.com. I'll interpret your dream or answer any questions you might have about the importance of dreams. So again, you can email me at debbie@dreampowerradio.com. It's so easy to live your dream life when things are going great. You feel like you're in the zone, your energy is high, you love life, and you believe all things are possible. But when bad things happen, it's as if a switch gets turned off inside you. Your energy slackens, negative thoughts outweigh your positive ones, and you might even sink into depression. Yet, it doesn't have to be that way. My guest today, Nancy Solari, can speak firsthand about how to rise above life's unfairness. Instead of falling into her own pity party, she has used her challenges as a springboard into an inspired and powerful life. Nancy is a best-selling author, life coach, motivational speaker, and the host of the Living Full Out Show. Welcome to the Dream Power Show, Nancy.
Hi, welcome. Well, I'm happy to be here.
I'm happy to have you here. Nancy, I've read your biography, and I'd say that life has dealt you a bad hand. Would you agree? If so, why? And if not, why?
Great question. Life has dealt me a puzzle, and over time, all the pieces got thrown up in the air, and I've had to put this puzzle together. Is the best way I can make sense of it. Once I'm able to find the right pieces to make sense as to why something happened, then I'm able to make that connection. Have I been dealt a negative hand? Yes, I would say, going through being diagnosed with RP, which is a degenerative eye condition, which has caused me to go legally blind, has come with losing my independence of not being able to drive. Today, I have a really hard time seeing the details of even people's faces or anything like that. And there's so many times I wish I could jump in the car and go do an errand, or just jump on my computer and easily read something. But that wasn't the walk in life I was given. I was also exposed at a young age to domestic violence and seeing my mom go through breast cancer and my sisters go through an eating disorder. And, like I said, the puzzle was thrown up in the air at an early age. But in hindsight, the beauty of the whole thing is that my eye condition, it didn't degenerate until a little bit later in life. I was diagnosed at 16. So I did see the violence. I did see the pain in my family. But I'm thankful I did, because today, as a life coach, as a radio host, and just as a human being who has friends and family, it's actually given me a lot more depth. So sometimes you have to go through the really hard moments in life in order to have that depth, to get that lesson.
Now, you did say you were a teenager when you were first diagnosed with RP. You must have felt at the time that your world was coming to an end. How did you deal with it?
Denial. Good old-fashioned denial. I mean, to be honest, when they said that we would go blind by 40, and I'm over 40 now, but I mean, I would say things are very blurry. I can't see the details. But when they said that to me at 16, I just couldn't wrap my head around, now, first of all, the age of 40, because at 16 it feels far off. But second of all, I couldn't imagine not seeing. I really thought for sure between 16 and 40, a cure would happen. And we would constantly be told 5 years, 5 years, 5 years, and it never came. But again, you talked about, how I didn't sink into a pity party early on in my introduction. And the thing is that's true. If I allow myself to go to all the stresses and the uncertainties of going blind, well, then that's the half glass full life I'm going to have. But if I allow myself to rally and really use all my other senses, my sense of smell, my sense of touch, my sense of taste, then actually life is a grander experience, to be honest. And I can give you more examples of that if you'd like.
Sure. Why don't you do that now? Explain a little bit deeper about what you mean.
Sure. So like one of the things I would say is connection with people. So if I was fully sighted, and let's say I was going to visit a doctor's office, I'm sure I'd be driving. I would get out of my car, I'd go into the office, and I would go to the suite number and go to my appointment. But that's not my reality. I don't drive, so I take an Uber or a Lyft, and I chit-chat with that person all the way there, so I'm making one connection. Then usually that person passes me off to someone on the first floor. It could be a pharmacy, it could be security. And at that point, I go with that person, and they walk me to the suite, the doctor's office suite number. And then I'm having a chit-chat. I'm kind of having a moment with them. And then when I get to the doctor's office, again, they treat me with care and attention and, just whatever I need to get from the sign-in desk to the doctor's office room. And what I'm saying is amongst that journey, I've met 2-3 different people that if I was fully sighted, I just march on into the appointment and miss all those opportunities. Another thing I'll share briefly is going back to the 5 senses. I'm a big hugger. Like I want to hug people. That's my way of, if I can't make eye contact and, give them a wink or, say I'm proud of you with my eyes, then at least I want to give them a hug or I want to give them a handshake. So again, I think it's just kind of connecting with people in a more enriching way.
It's funny when you're saying that, it reminded me of my work in dream work, where I always explain about how nightmares, while they sound scary and people never like to get them, they're actually a blessing in disguise, because when you go into them and discover what they really mean, they do give you such valuable insight into your life. And it sounds like, I don't want to call your condition a nightmare, but, just as the analogy, you've been given something negative and have really been able to dig deep and to find the joy in it. Would you agree?
Absolutely. Absolutely. And I think dreams are so important. I mean, when I dream, I'm not blind. When I dream, I see people's faces. I see sunsets. I see whatever it is I'm focusing on. And that's the good and the bad. I see the nightmare too. So it's interesting because in dreams, you're not blind. You're not disabled. You're not going through necessarily the daily grind, but you're focused on whatever that dream's adventure is, whether it's a scary one or a happy one.
Mm-hmm. That's interesting that you say that. So do you see people like the way you saw them, when you were fully sighted, or do you have some other imagination of what people might look like now?
I so love that you asked that question, because if it's somebody who's been in my life, then I do remember the last time I saw them well. So even my mom or my friends, and they love that because they don't have gray hair. They don't have wrinkles. They're like, yeah, see me at age 20. See me when you want to see me. That's great. And then for the people that I'm meeting for the first time in a new way, I base their looks upon their personality. Sometimes I hit it on the mark. Sometimes I don't. But, when you hug somebody, you can get a good feel for their body structure. the way they talk, their personality, are they bubbly? Are they soft-spoken? And you just kind of have this vision for what you think they look like, but it's no longer about the actual physical looks. It's about the personality. And, for me, I don't see homeless. I don't see races. I don't see, what people are wearing, whether it's, trendy or not. It's really based upon the person.
Mm-hmm. Would you say you see their soul?
Definitely. Definitely. It's kind of, again, I think in hindsight now, it's really a gift. If somebody could give me a magic wand and say, poof, now you can see 2020 or even better, I think that would be a kick. I mean, I think I would definitely try to apply all that I've learned not seeing into being sighted. But at the same time, again, I really thank all the people who have been loving to me over the years. But you see a side of people that is so loving and endearing. And I'm not saying that people feel bad for me or, pity me because of my disability, but there's just this connection that people genuinely want to help. And so when somebody can help me do something, it's like it's a gift for them and it's a gift for me. It's a win-win for both.
What a wonderful thing to happen. You call your philosophy living full out. Could you explain what you mean by those words, living full out?
Absolutely. So it's going to happen in life that, our attention may go to one aspect of our life more than another. So, I work with clients that may be quote, quote, workaholics because they're putting everything into the doing, their career, becoming who they want to be in the world work-wise. But maybe their relationships are suffering. It's out of balance. And what I try to strive for is looking at your life and having a full pie. So if you can consider your life as a pie, and there's different slices. There's the slice that's a career slice, a relationship slice, a personal hobby slice. You want to have balance amongst all of those. So when we talk about living full out, it's really looking at all aspects of your life and not leaving those pieces left, at a default. You want to insert the same energy into each piece of the pie if you can. Now that takes thought, it takes scheduling, it takes planning. There's times that it would be so easy for me to just, keep working, although I'm sure for you, work and passion are a kind of a blurred line because we love what we do. But I do have to get myself out there. I go to like social meetup groups. I go on dates. I go out with my friends and, or there might be things that I do to feed my hobby pie. I'm taking guitar lessons. I love to go karaoke. And it's intentional that I'm making sure that I'm giving each of those areas of my life my all.
Mm-hmm. And making sure that you try to achieve some kind of balance then?
I definitely try to have balance. Some weeks are better than others. Some days are better than others. But I would say, I just want to look back at the end of the week, at the end of the month, at the end of the year, and know that I gave it my all. And I think at the end of the day, we want to look at life that same way. A legacy doesn't have to be having a business. A legacy can be having a family. It can be being a good friend. It can be, excelling at something that you're striving for. So at the end of the day, it's just taking this energy that we have, because as we get older, sometimes that gets depleted and sometimes it surges. It just depends. But taking that energy we have and putting it into focus, but being intentional with your time. And that's how you get balance. And actually, you're talking about dreams. That's where your dreams are really important. I always tell people, don't go to bed, no offense, but don't go to bed watching SVU. Go to bed with something positive in your mind. A lot of times I will lay in bed and I'll turn on my phone and I'll listen to something motivational. And when the video's done, hopefully I'm asleep. But I went to sleep with something positive in my mind. And then vice versa. I don't wake up in the morning and turn on the news just to hear about all these hit and runs and people who have been murdered. I try to pick something positive to feed my mind.
Oh, that's so true. I mean, when people ask me all the time, how do I remember my dreams? What should I do? One of the things I tell them is, don't watch TV right before you go to bed. Take some time out. If you're someone who likes to meditate, it's a time to meditate. If not, read a good positive book, something to, set your mind at ease so that you can have sweet dreams. So I fully, fully support what you're saying. With that, we're going to take a short break here. We're talking with Nancy Solari on The Dream Power Show. We'll be right back. Want to know more about remembering your dreams and what they mean? Want practical tools to help you really live the life of your dreams? I'm Debbie Spector-Weissman, the Dream Coach. For powerful wisdom you can use, sign up for my newsletter today at dreampowerradio.com. It's free.
Welcome back to Dream Power Radio with your host, Debbie Spector-Weissman.
Yes, and welcome back to the Dream Power Show. I'm your host, certified dream life coach, Debbie Spector-Weissman. And we're speaking with Nancy Solari on pretty much how to get the most out of life. Nancy, in your Living Full Out philosophy, you talk about the importance of having purpose. You speak about how people who may not know what their purpose is come to find it.
Yeah, the thing about finding your purpose is I think a lot of people put this big burden on their shoulder that a purpose has to be something big, that it has to be, again, like a business or, a family or a successful marriage or whatever that looks like. But the thing is, purpose is really what drives you in the day. So, whatever gets you out of bed and makes you excited, that's purpose. So you want to lead with that. Now, some people might say, well, I like to jump out of bed and watch, TV. Well, let's turn that into a purpose. What is it about watching TV that you enjoy? Well, I really like watching Dr. Phil, and I really enjoy watching the different stories and how he gives them advice. Great. So what is it about that do you like? And then when we start to peel away the layers and you start to see what somebody is intrigued by or where that passion is, that can lead them to their purpose. Somebody might say, oh, I love the commercials. Like I learned so much and, I've been waiting for this one commercial to come on. I saw it once and I want to see it again. Well, you know what? Gosh, maybe you are into advertising or marketing or sales. So a lot of times when we jump out of bed in the morning, what brings us that joy? That's the first step to honing in on your purpose.
And how important do you think it is to be living in the present?
Very, very important. Very important. And I feel that importance more and more every day. So, we can't go backwards. Yesterday's gone. There's no guarantees of tomorrow. We hope it's going to be great, but who knows? And, we've all been there where we see people tragically pass away younger than they should. And we want to make every day count. But making every day count, again, I urge people that it doesn't have to be this big, I have to accomplish something. I mean, accomplishing things are great. I love dreams. I love goals. But sometimes living in the moment is just saying, you know what? I haven't talked to that friend in a long time. I'm going to call them today. Stop putting it off because, again, you might not have tomorrow. Call them today. Or, if somebody is saying, you know what? I want to lose weight. And then every day it's like, I'll start tomorrow. You might not have tomorrow. Start today. But do something small. I mean, literally just walk around your block. That's a start. So I think that people, again, have to be intentional. And when we talk about living full out, it's putting that energy into motion. just one step at a time. It doesn't mean that it has to be a big, grandiose, effort or achievement. Just something, just to say that you declared that you wanted to do something and you followed through. I think a lot of times that's where people get depressed, get sad, kind of beat themselves up, is they say they're going to do something and then they don't follow through. And a lot of times that happens because we set ourselves up for too large of a call. Does that make sense?
Oh, absolutely. I think one of the things I like to talk about is taking baby steps to something, because you don't have to do a big thing to make a change. You could start with the smallest thing, because before you realize it, you take one step, and 10 days later you've taken 10 steps, and 30 days later you've taken 30 steps. And if you just keep on the path, I think consistency is an important part of it. But you're right. Starting out by saying you're going to do something great does tend to keep you stuck in your tracks, because you have a paralysis of analysis of thinking it through too much, so that you end up doing nothing. Would you agree?
Oh, absolutely, absolutely. And I think that sometimes we also need to look at being more resourceful. So in life, we only know what we know, right? We know what we know how we grew up. We know what we know in what we've studied and what we've read and what we've seen. But there's so much that we don't know. And so when we turn to other people, whether that be a friend or a family member, if you're going through a hard time, maybe they're your sounding boards, a listening ear, they might have insights or a way out or a solution that you just can't see. Or maybe bringing in, if you have a career or a business, bringing people into your business that might be able to look at a problem in a different way and see a solution. And so oftentimes we kind of go into superhero mode, like we feel like we need to do everything ourselves. I can do it better. I can do it faster. But the whole meaning of life, kind of the joke of it all really, is that there is no big award at the end of your life for saying, hey, you did everything yourself. Because at the end of your life, you want people to come and celebrate you. And those are all the supporters that you had in your life. Those are the people that you touched. And so I love, like when people pass away, I love going to life celebrations. I love hearing the stories of how people knew each other. And that's kind of what you want to keep your eye on, is at the end of the day, at the end of your life, how do you want to be known for? It's not about the awards. It's not about all the accomplishments. It's about who you were as a person.
It is so true. I want to shift gears a little bit and talk about the concept of forgiveness. That really does play an important role in moving ahead in life, doesn't it?
Absolutely. Absolutely. It's forgiveness is one of those things where it is this, if somebody has wronged you or something happened in your life and maybe it was even your fault, when you hold on to that, it's just this burden that's on your heart, at your core, in your mind, and you can't shake it. And then it controls you, it owns you, it has power over you, and it's because you let it. But when you're able to forgive and you're able to kind of let something go, it's not like everything bounces back to being right in the world, but you do feel this release. You do feel as though you gained your power back. And I remember, on a personal note, my parents, they ended up divorcing. My father had an affair. I do love him, and he's passed away now, but it broke our family apart. And that was when I was 10 years old. And, he raised a whole new family outside of ours. And I remember when I was in my late 20s, I called him up, and he was living in Washington. I was living in Santa Monica, California at the time. And I said, you know what? I would love it if you could come down here for a weekend. And I think I really want to sort out what happened back when I was 10. And I want to understand your point of view. I can hear it now. I couldn't have heard it at 10. And we talked about it, and I forgave him. I forgave him. It was hard. I can't blame him for my mom's breast cancer, but I know that the stress was not helpful on her. I can't, my sisters went into an eating disorder mode because they were losing their family and all they could control was their weight. And I needed him to understand that his actions spiraled so many things in so many different negative directions. And he really got that. So when he passed away due to brain cancer in his around 68, I was good. I had forgiven him. He had heard me out. I had heard him out. And so I think those are special moments that we want to try to have with people so that when people pass away, we're not saying, I wish I had.
Oh, I so agree with you. I had the same thing with my mother. Not that, she wasn't really a bad person, but we had some difficult moments when I grew up. And later on in life, I made peace with her. And it wasn't really, I didn't have to forgive her for anything in specific, but just, maybe forgiving her for not being the mother I wish she was or so. But the point is that I felt complete and that I had accomplished something. And so, when she did die, I had no regrets. I never, of course I felt sad and mourned her passing, but I never had that feeling of, oh, I wish I had said this or I wish I had done that. And you're right, it's so important to be able to do that. But my question is, how do you forgive somebody? Because it's not just a matter of saying, I forgive you. How can somebody do that?
Well, you should only go to them and forgive them when you actually mean it. Now, here's the thing about forgiving somebody. It could be a face-to-face conversation. It could be by phone, email. I don't suggest text, but email. Or, you might choose to write a letter that you never send. So it's sometimes forgiving somebody is letting that other person know, I forgive you. But sometimes it's just flushing out of your heart, out of your mind, what you need to say about it and releasing it. And it doesn't mean that you have to give that letter to that person or have that conversation. You absolutely can make a declaration. I'm forgiving this person with all my heart, and this is why. And then, fold it up, package it away, but you've made that commitment.
So important. I want to sort of lighten the mood a little bit and talk a bit about laughter. I know you believe a sense of humor is so important to have also, right?
Oh my gosh, you have got to have a sense of humor. I mean, I think I do pretty well being legally blind, but I will tell you, there have been times where, things just are funny. Like I use accessibility software on my computer. I have an iPhone. On my phone, I have an iPhone. And sometimes I'll tell Siri something and she'll totally scramble it up. I'll say, thank you so much. But somehow to the other person, it's, I hate you so much. And I don't know how she does that, but she does it. So, everybody in my world, they have to kind of scramble out my texts sometimes to really get the meaning that they know. And sure, there's been times when, gosh, I thought I had my clothes on right, but you know what? My label was in the front. The shirt was inside out. But I think even a sighted person has done that. And it's really finding, again, those moments. I have a Jack Russell Terrier. He's my service dog, Lionel Richie. And Lionel and I, one of our little, things that we will do sometimes is I have a secret love for Jersey Mike's. I don't know what it is. I just like their sandwiches. And sometimes when we'll take a walk and we'll go there. And literally the other day, I just finished up one of our shows. And I said, Lionel, you want to go for a walk? He didn't come out. I said, Lionel, you want to go outside? He didn't come out. I was looking for every buzzword that a dog would want. Lionel, you want a treat? Nothing. Then I said, Lionel, you want to go to Jersey Mike's? And he came out. And, the thing is, that was such a loving moment. I was like, that's my boy, And so you just got to capture these moments that make you smile, that make you laugh. and really let them be the compass for your day. I mean, know that the unexpected, the hardships, they're always going to come. I mean, there's a whole slew of things that I encountered later on in my life than even in my early life. And you know what? I just know that more's going to come, right? I'm only in my early 40s, so I got to put on my seatbelt and just be ready for more.
Mm. Wow, I can't believe that we're almost out of time here. So I have to quickly ask you, how can people find out more about you, Nancy?
Oh, thank you for asking. So you can go to livingfullout.com. And when you go there, you'll be able to learn more about our radio show. And, we have a blog that has a lot of lifestyle articles that answers, big problems that people face every day. And check us out on social media. You can go to Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, Pinterest, YouTube. We're on all those places. And just know that we are here to help. I'm a busy woman, but honestly, if you reach out to me by email at connect@livingfullout.com, I'm happy to respond back and be of support if I can, or call us at 310-909-7800 and go to livingfullout.com. But it's just about living the best life you can. And you know what? We're going to make mistakes. We're going to fail. Hardships are going to happen. But at the same time, there's the really good moments. And one of those is being here with you today.
Oh, well, thank you so much. And thank you for being on the Dream Power Show today. We've been speaking with coach and motivational speaker Nancy Solari about living full out. I hope you've enjoyed today's program. Until next time, this is Debbie Spector-Weissman saying, sweet dreams, everybody.
You've been listening to Dream Power Radio with your host, Debbie Spector-Weissman. For more information on Debbie or to sign up for her newsletter, go to dreampowerradio.com. This has been Dream Power Radio on the amazing Women and Men of Power Network, the world's leading positive programming network, powered by Raven International.